Good afternoon and welcome to the news on Zodiac with me, Happy Mzembe. Coming up in this bulletin, Department of Immigration Services worried with the threats of technological advancement on increasing fraud and insecurity in Malawi. Chief Justice challenges Revenue Appeals Tribunal to establish strong foundation for resolving tax-related matters. Experts step up efforts in exploring infectious diseases modeling techniques to have sustainable ways of containing outbreaks. In sports news, commentators say Super League title challenge fast turning out a two-horse race with only 9 weeks to go. Now the news in detail. The Department of Immigration Services has observed that technological advancement has potential to increase fraud and insecurity in Malawi if left unchecked. Immigration Services Commissioner responsible for operations, Fletcher Nyirenda, said this today in Doha during a fraud detection training for immigration officers. Nyirenda stressed on the need for immigration officers to be able to identify documents to enhance border and migration management. International Organization for Migration Chief of Mission Nomagugu Nkube said officials need capacity to separate fake documents from genuine ones. We have a report by Western Guta.
The Immigration Department Commissioner for Operations, Fletcher Nyirenda, says oftentimes transnational crimes like money laundering, human trafficking and terrorism happen using these falsified documents, which makes it paramount for officers to have capacity to identify the documents.
Very, very important, especially to the immigration officers. The first line of defense in as far as the security of the country is concerned, because I think the immigration plays a critical role.
Chief of Mission for the International Organization for Migration, IOM, Nomagugu Nkube, has stressed the need to create regular pathways that help people to move without challenges, but was quick to point out that knowing those that have entered the country and for what purpose is crucial for security reasons.
We're supporting this training because we recognize and understand the importance the Department of Immigration plays in safeguarding the country's security.
One of the immigration officers from Mloza border post in Mulanje, Caesar Sawerenkera, says he probably has cleared fake documents before without realizing. Therefore, the training will enable him to be able to identify the fake ones.
This training is so much important in the sense that it will help us in identifying the original travel documents as well as identifying fake documents which are being used by various travelers across our borders in Malawi.
Commissioner says besides security, SADC protocols on free movement entails that people and goods move freely to advance trade, but that should be done with consideration of legal processes. I'm Western Kuta in Doha.
Doctors at Kamuzu Central Hospital's orthopedic department say the facility is operating beyond its capacity due to a rise in road accidents, mainly involving Kapaza motorcycle taxi operators. Maureen Sabao, president of the Malawi Orthopedic Association, says the Lilongwe Institute of Orthopedic and Neurosurgery has a bed capacity of 65 but is currently accommodating 135 patients. Speaking at Kabaza Safety Awareness Campaign Grand Rally in 1825 in Lilongwe, Sabao said most of the accidents involve young people aged between 15 and 29. Meanwhile, President of the Malawi Coalition for Kabaza Stakeholders Association, Moses Malabu, has asked the Parliament to change some laws concerning motorcycles as a way of reducing road accidents. The Malawi Electoral Commission (MEC) says it will work within the framework of the law in the National Voter Registration exercise expected to commence on 21st October in readiness for the next year's general elections. MEC chairperson Annabel Ntalimanja says this in response to concerns by political parties that the use of the national identity card as the sole identification for voter registration is likely to disfranchise many citizens. She says currently the body is ready to welcome and accommodate criticism regarding the process. She said this on Monday at Imponera in Doha during a review meeting of the pilot voter registration exercise with electoral stakeholders.
In terms of MEC, we welcome constructive criticism constructive feedback because they are our stakeholders. And the reason we engage them is because we are in this process together. We collaborate with political parties as our stakeholders. And so if they have any feedback from the pilot voter registration, we welcome that. And we desire that feedback actually because we're going to use it. And even now, we already have some feedback that we're going to use as part of the review process. As we move towards the national registration exercise itself, I want to emphasize the commitment of MEC to work within the framework of the law. That is the first and foremost important thing. We work within the law and we continue to work within the framework of the law. Beyond that, we continue to be transparent in all our processes. MEC does not make any movement without engaging our stakeholders, and will continue to do that.
Meanwhile, Head of Identity Management at National Registration Bureau, Mbawaka Mwakwawa, says they will do their part to register as many people as possible.
In terms of readiness towards the general election in 2025, I think we have done a lot towards that. If you remember carefully, from 2023, we have been organizing the outreach registration exercises where we are registering those that may not have registered by then. So the exercise had run up to this year, 2024, in June. So if from the registrations that we have done, since 2016 when we commenced the national registration exercise plus the registration exercise that I'm talking about, we have registered about 12.2 million people in Malawi who are of 16 years and above. In the same vein, we have been printing the national identity cards for these people. If you remember carefully, this year we received about 1 million cards that we printed offshore. So we have also sent 2.2 million records to be printed for national ID.
Chief Justice Rezini Mzigamanda has charged the newly sworn-in Revenue Appeals Tribunal and judicial research officers to establish a strong foundation for resolving tax-related matters in the country for economic progress. The Chief Justice urged the judicial officers to strive for excellency by upholding independence, accountability, transparency, efficiency, and combat corruption. Secretary to Treasury Dr. Bichani Chereni said the tribunal will enhance taxpayer and investor confidence. Alex Banda reports from Blantyre.
The Revenue Appeals Tribunal has officially been established in accordance to the Act of 2021. The court is now mandated to assess the related matters previously handled by the Malawi Revenue Authority, MRA. Chief Justice Rezini Mzigamanda has urged the tribunal to set a strong foundation for resolving these issues.
We are seeing independence, we are seeing transparency, we are seeing accountability in the way that tax revenues are being processed. And so that tribunal is going to be very important. It's the first ever tribunal.
This tribunal, according to Secretary to Treasury Dr. Bichani Chereni and ECAMA President Bentha Chigadza, will instill confidence in taxpayers and investors alike.
If you're an investor and you know that if I am dissatisfied with a certain decision which the CG, the Commissioner General of Malawi Revenue Authority, will have made, I can run to the tribunal, and the tribunal is going to be there to efficiently determine such, dissatisfaction.
This is actually good because it can also improve revenue collection, because it will actually remove all these backlogs that or any other money that tends to be locked up in maybe judicial cases that come with tax.
Josta Mazani-Gisale, who has been sworn in as chairperson of the tribunal, has committed to efficiency.
We will do all that we can to be fair, to be impartial in our rulings and determinations as we discharge the statutory mandate that has been entrusted upon us by the Revenue Appeals Tribunal Act.
Alfred Vincent Pemba has been sworn in as deputy chairperson, and Timothy John Chira, serving as a registrar, sworn in alongside some judicial research officers. For Zodiac in Blantyre, this is Alex Banda.
You're watching the news on Zodiac, and this afternoon you are with me, Happy Mzembe. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back, and you're with me, Happy Mzembe.
As policymakers and other health experts are being equipped with infectious diseases modeling techniques in order to have sustainable ways to contain outbreaks in the country. Principal Quality Management Officer in the Ministry of Health, Selemani Kondowe, hopes this will help in urgent management of diseases.
As you know, year in, year out, we are hit by uncertainties, some infections, just like we had COVID. So this training is about to build capacity of officers to be able to predict infections. For instance, if we have COVID, we'll be able to know according to the trend how much maybe in the next 2 weeks, in the next year.
Lucky Ngwira is a senior health economist at Kamuzu University of Health Sciences.
We are burdened with a lot of diseases in Malawi, right from HIV, TB and so forth. And because all this rely on having nice data and for people also to analyze it, this course is designed to help policymakers as well as the researchers and academicians to be able to analyze the models.
For Zodiac, this is Christopher Sande.
Enlightened Christian Gathering Church, ECG, has for the first time moved its Salvation Festival to Lilongwe, saying it wants to give people in the city easy access to attend the event. The event, taking place this Saturday at BICC in Lilongwe, has been held in the Lakeshore district of Salima in the past years. The announcement was made by ECG founder and leader Prophet Shepherd Bushiri, who estimates that people from about 50 countries will attend the event in person.
This ceremony happens every year and at the very same period like we are doing it in this month of September. I would like also to make mention that the main reason of this program is not just only to have celebration of our salvation. It is also a period of reflection where we as believers do reflect of ourselves and also seek the face of God for forgiveness as well as purification.
One of the delegates and a representative from Denmark, Pastor Rose Mzwimbi, says this is an opportunity for her to confirm her salvation. We now turn to sports news. Local sports commentators say the TNM Super League title challenge is turning out to be a two-horse race with only 9 weeks of action remaining. The analysts Christopher Njeula and Henry Gome both agree that looking at the current status of the league, Silver Strikers and Mighty Mukuru Wanderers are now going for the title, but the bankers have an upper hand. The Central Bankers are leading the standings with 48 points, 7 ahead of second-placed Wanderers. Brett Kanyama has filed this report.
With 9 weeks remaining to wrap up the 2024 TNM Super League season, two teams are looking likely to fight for the title. Silver Strikers and Blantyre-based outfit Mighty Mukuru Wanderers are the favourites according to sports commentators Christopher Njeula and Henry Gome. Their argument is based on the performance of the two teams so far and the points difference between them. For instance, Njeula says with the bankers yet to lose and are leading the standings, they are the favourites to win the title, but they will face resistance from the Nomads, who are also eyeing the championship.
Mathematically, the other teams can actually grab the title, but we are being realistic from an experience point of view on how teams actually fare when it comes to the second round. Not many teams would wish to drop points, especially when we look at the opponents that these teams will play against.
On his part, Gome says with experience of winning the league title, Silver and Wanderers are the clear favourites to fight for the championship.
The gap that is there between the two teams, if you look at Wanderers and Silver Strikers, the gap is just 7 points. But then if you look at the other teams, for example, Zulu City Hammers or Great Sporting Club who are coming a bit closer, you can actually see that the gap is too wide. We're talking of about 14 points. And again, you also look at the consistency of the teams to say that will they be able to get to where Super Strikers are.
After week 21 of action, the Central Bankers are on top of the TNM Super League standings with 48 points, 7 ahead of the Laluban Boys, who are coming second. Meanwhile, Silver Strikers coach Peter Mponda has openly said his team is winning the league this season. For Zodiac, this is Bright Kanyama.
And that's about we had time for in this edition of the news. But before us, experts step up efforts in exploring infectious diseases modeling techniques to have sustainable ways of containing outbreaks. And sports.